Well, traders, it is that time of the week again. I'm Matt. This is Jacey with Empire Algorithmic Trading, and we are here to bring you your VWAP Vision Stock Talk weekly review.
It's where the volume weighted average price tells us what's going on with the market, and it was a heck of a week, Matt. So let's get right to it. Time for a little weekly review.
Weekly review. Woo, woo. All right, Jace, end of the week, beginning of the week, however you want to look at it, it is time for that weekly review. So, big thing we like to always start this off with is how the markets did. But anyway, how was it this week?
It was, the United States drops bombs on Iran and the U.S. stock market blows up. That's exactly what happened. It was an amazing week. It was something, and I put a note out here on the chart just to remind myself because I was looking. I'm like, man, what a crazy week it was. When you look at the weekly charts, I mean, that's a clear breakout. That's a
Oh.
clear breakout. That's a clear breakout, and that's a clear breakout, and as well as the bonds kind of
Well,
breaking out
real
as
quick
well.
for those
So,
listening, Jace, can you tell us which are the that's a clear breakout
oh
charts?
yeah, sorry. I'm cruising along here. Okay, so the S&P 500 breaking out new all-time high. The Nasdaq Composite breaking out new all-time high. Small caps broke out of their little mini consolidation, a new all-time high on a VWAP basis. And then same thing with the mid caps breaking out of their consolidation, new all-time high on a VWAP basis. And then, of course, bonds. Bonds rallied as well, breaking out of their little consolidation, bringing interest rates down. So it's just all fuel to the fire. I hate using these
Yeah.
explosive terms, but that's exactly what it was. It was really a great week for the market. Strong gains, up 1.5% on Friday, up 3.4% on the S&P 500 for the week, and the Nasdaq was up a solid 4.2% for the week. Small caps were up 3%, and then mid caps were up 2.6%. So overall, a very strong week. As far as the general markets go, Friday got a little interesting, got a little hairy there about halfway through the session. Donald Trump announced that he was suspending trade talks with Canada, and the market just sold off hard. I mean, we're just going to bring up the 5 minute chart. I mean, it's humming along. Things are looking good. My son's in town, so I've got some time off. We're going to go out and enjoy some sun, enjoy ourselves a little bit. And I just happened to, as we were waiting for lunch, I just happened to bring up the chart, and it looked like that. And I was like, "Whoa, what the heck just happened here?" And then it continued to sell off. So I mean, it was looking
Uh,
pretty ugly. Thinking, "Oh boy, the sellers are coming in." I didn't know what the news was yet. I'm thinking, all right, this is the test, right? These are sellers coming in and pushing the market down right at the all-time highs. Kind of prepared for that. But then
yeah, we talked about
selling
that
didn't.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. And the selling didn't last. So, at first I was like, man, this is a fragile high if it can get pushed down just on a something simple is a slight news headline. I shouldn't say slight. I mean, calling off trade talks with another country isn't slight, but it's Trump. And
Right.
so, he whatever. But it only lasted for a couple hours. The index is reversed. A lot of the leading stocks reversed back higher. I ended up, I had some intraday stops. I got stopped on a couple of things, but that's okay. That's what you set stops for. But yeah, it was kind of by the end of the day, and after looking at some charts, I kind of think this shows the resiliency of this market where it can break out
Yeah.
of all time and a new all time highs, not even 5 days after we bomb another country, and then not even a couple hours after Donald Trump announces suspension of trade talks, which 2 months ago would have sent the market reeling for days. It lasted just a
For a
couple of
week.
hours. Yeah, in a
Yeah.
week. So a lot of buyers came in. It was very good to see. And so that is the flavor of the general market today. Or this week, I should say. Very exciting week, very exciting day on Friday, both up and down. But all in all, it was a lot of fun.
That's wonderful. Well, that is our market talk. And speaking of ups and downs, Jace, I'm really excited to get into the next part. The next section of our weekly review comes to you by our Patreon, patreon.com/ Empire Algorithmic Trading. Subscribe there. You can get access to our daily buy and sell signals from our algorithm. The algorithm vets all the stocks, makes all of the historical analysis so you don't have to. Again, patreon.com/ Empire Algorithmic Trading to get your hands on those daily buy and sell signals. So, Jace, some of these breakouts, some of these failures, the movers that have been sent to us by the algorithm, what did they do last week?
It was a pretty great week, man. We had a couple of breakouts and quite a few of them were pretty strong. IREN Limited, IREN, up 6.76% today, or 6.79% today for the week. It broke out earlier in the
Uh,
week, but for the week, it was up 33% for the week. Pretty massive. The buy signal date was on the 24th at 11:54 was the buy price. It's currently closed at 14. Innovative Solutions, ISSC, not nice solid 5.5% gain on Friday for the week. It too was up 13% for the week. This was a previous breakout for us back here on June 4th at 11.96. It's currently at 13.95. ARM Holdings, another strong performance from ARM, up 4.6%. I mean, that is a heck of a week. It was up for the week 14.08% for the week. Its buy price, original buy point was down here on June 10th, and then it flashed another buy signal on 6/18. The second buy signal was at 146.05. It's currently trading at 165. Hinge, HNGE, it broke out last week at 43.47. Quickly ran all the way up to 48.85. Tested yesterday, actually shook me out yesterday. It looked like a round trip. Quickly hit the 10-day moving average, completely reversed. I brought this up in Arrow Review yesterday.
rocket ship.
It is. I took another position this morning. I was like, all right, if you're going to reverse and bounce right off the 10-day, we're going to try and ride this up a little bit more. So I took another position this morning. It quickly rallied up and hit my first 5% target this afternoon. It did peel off a little bit, but that's a nice looking one. This one for the week was up another 10.5%. My good friend Dave just is not stopping, man. 18.3%. This is going to haunt me for the rest of my days. I swear, man. It's
Just
even
real
worse.
quick for the followers, Jace.
Yeah.
What
All
is
right.
this up since you scared yourself out of that one?
Oh my God. I didn't scare myself out. I was following the probabilities, right? So the intraday it was down. I bought it here at 94.78. And then the very next day it was down well over 2.5%. It was like down 2.8, 2.9%. So I sell it. I'm like, okay, statistically, stocks that are down 2.5% or more the day after do not recover. It's a very small probability. A stock that is generally down 2.5% doesn't recover that day. So it was breaking the low. It was down more than my max. I'm like, all right, there's a half an hour left in the session. This thing is not going to recover. I sell it. Literally, the very next trade, it trades up and it hasn't traded lower since I sold it. I sold it at 92.14. It's currently at 249. So, what are you gonna do, right? Like, oh my goodness. And it hasn't flashed a sell signal. It has, I mean, it tested the 20-day, but the algorithm hasn't flashed a sell signal. You're in it, you're already taking your 5 and your 10%, or 5 and 7% profits, 5 and 10%, whatever it is, and you're just letting this thing ride. And so, yeah, that's the story behind Dave and
Good
sticking to
buddy,
your
Dave.
guns. Yeah, but anyhow, it's pretty fun. Vertiv Holdings, it had a nice week. It was up 7.2% for the week. It was up 2.7% on Friday. Vistra
Nice.
Holdings continuing to just a nice steady run. It's just running right along that 10-day moving average. It was up
I mean,
2.4.
you can take a ruler. You can take a ruler and trace a line on that one. Look at how
It's
steady that is.
Yeah, it's about as consistent as you can get. Very smooth uptrend there. Beautiful looking chart. For the week, it was up 5.3%. Another strong week. Pega's breakout back here. on 6.5 at 50.92 has been kind of struggling, but it did a nice little shakeout and it split 2 for 1. And since that split, it's been on a nice tear. It rallied up 2.1% and it was up 7.5% on the week. That is a really massive chart. And some of these things are just on bigger volume too. So it's just looking good. And then lastly, Affirm. I didn't take a position on this one. I didn't have the money for it actually, but it's a nice breakout too for the week. It rallied 1.7% on Friday, and it was up 9.6% for the week. So overall, it was a monster week for breakouts. But as always, you always need to be vigilant and you need to mind your stops, right? So even though it's a raging bull market, still 30 to 40% of these stocks are going to work against you. And so you just want to be
Mhm.
mindful and keep your money out of the losers, like Circle Internet. I mean, we talked about it in Arrow Review. It's just a mathematical signal. It wasn't really set up. It was pretty close to, I mean, it was way extended, and it just proved itself. It's down 15% on Friday. For the week, it ended up correcting 24%, which is unfortunate. It's going to hurt the stats of the algorithm, but it is what it is, right? We kind of saw that. But
Yep.
if you bought into it, you just got to make sure you're keeping your losses. Palantir, a hard sell signal on Friday, down 9.3%, just kind of out of nowhere too. Kind of similar to what it did. It shook me out here back down at 121. But this after hitting a new high yesterday, that's out of character and pretty big warning sign for Palantir. Astera Labs, which looked like it was potentially going to come to life yesterday, reversed hard completely. So I didn't get it. I talked about it yesterday. Maybe I'm going to take another position. Didn't give me the opportunity, right? Reversed hard. If I would have taken it early and wouldn't have let the market prove itself, I would have taken a pretty steady loss on that. That's why it's good to just be
Yep.
patient
Yep.
and wait. Same thing with Venture Global. It reversed hard last week and it continues to sell off. So, and if you know, take a look at Rubrik, right? Rubrik flashed a sell signal. It kind of looked like might be setting up again and it sold off hard. So you got to be mindful, even though we're in a great market, you just got to be diligent. Protect your gains. That's the most important thing. You don't,
Yep.
risk control is number one. Protecting your profits is number two. There's no sense in making the money if you're not going to keep it. So protect those gains, get defensive, even though in a great market you want to be defensive. Because look at HIMS. HIMS was set up, it flashed a sell signal. It was looking great, and then it gapped down really hard, like we talked about earlier in the week. It's kind of trying to come back a little bit, but it found resistance at both the 10 and the 20-day moving averages today. So you just want to be diligent in that. And then, of course, just keep following your sell signals, right? AU continue to sell off. Delcast Systems flash the sell signal. It continues to sell off. And then Palomar continues to sell off as well. So, like I said, just be diligent. You just don't want to keep your blinders on and just want to rotate out of those things that are moving forward so you can get into stuff like IREN that just happens to take off for the week. So that is it for the weekly review. Moving forward for this week, as I said, my son is in town, so I'm going to take the week off next week until probably Thursday. Actually, no, I'm going to be out on Thursday as well. So we're going to be off next week. We will be posting the arrows for our Patreon subscribers, so there will be plenty of buy signals as well. But as far as the commentary like this, we're just going to take the week off.
Yeah, so make sure you are subscribing over to our Patreon to get your daily buy and sell signals sent to you by our algorithm. It's patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. For all of you watching us on YouTube or listening on Spotify, thank you so much for being a part of this with us. Make sure to like, subscribe, and review our channel. It helps us kind of rise in the rankings and helps more people get some eyeballs on us. If you want more information about who we are and what we do, check out our website, VWAPvision.com, VWAPvision.com, and follow us on socials, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X. We always like to put some little freebies out, some little tidbits here and there. Trader Tip Tuesday is a hot one. So you can find us on all of those platforms wherever you consume your trading information. And that being said, Jace, what a week. Thank you for everything. And as always, happy trading.
Happy trading, dude. We'll talk to you next week.
See you
At the end of
then.
next week. End of next week. All right. See you, buddy.